the house. Since you guys tend to like these videos better than the actual fishing videos, I'm thinking about you guys. Let me know. Comment below if you think I should do like a Sunday wrap up on the weekends I go fishing, to give you kind of an advanced, instead of waiting for the videos that you never watch anyway. And what I feel is working and isn't working, the new stuff I tried out, or what baits were working, kind of overall wrap up for the weekend, right? And even if I don't go fishing, I could do like a just a Sunday wrap up type video, a one time deal, because I pay attention to some, not all, of the YouTubers that are out there, and a lot of them do like a little Saturday live, a set time. You know me, I just jump on here when I'm ready to make a video kind of deal, and do unboxings and that, and it could be very random because as soon as it comes in, I'm like, get home and I'm in a hurry to see what it is, so I try to do it right then and there, and sometimes it's too early. So anyway, this is your time to comment on what your idea of what times you think would be best. And I know I've got several viewers like from different states and different countries that do watch the channel. So I know there's not going to be a perfect time, but I'm thinking like every Sunday I tend to do my wrap up. I try to actually get done fishing earlier on Sundays, just so I can kind of wind down a little bit and get ready for, work the next week, right? And then get ready again on a Friday night, get that stuff loaded up and ready to go early Saturday morning. And it's going to be hoodie weather. It's not quite hoodie weather yet. It's like early morning hoodie weather, if that, but then it's like hot weather the rest of the time. We're still in that weird kind of phase. So we got a lot to talk about because a lot went on, and I felt kind of rushed and frustrated a little bit on Saturday because, trust me, nothing you see here was working right. Well, except this reel. The baits, the bite was not that great to start. Then it got good. Then the wind picked up, and then we couldn't even hardly fish. So anyway, I'm going to jump into the new stuff we got, what is legit, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I am not a professional fisherman. I go out and fish. I fish a lot. I should be a professional fisherman as much as I fish, but I'm not. So, if you remember right, Jay, and thank you very much, Jay sent this. He thought, since he knows me by now, that I'm not going to buy another round reel, more than likely. And Charles, though, Charles still is in that, he likes the round reel. So, the Saber from, this is the JKS 51 that we got from Jay, but the 50, it's kind of like Shimano. The 50s, they're the zeros, it means they're right-handed basically, and if they have a 1 on the end of the number, that means they're going to be left-handed. So Charles originally had I think it was the same brand. I don't know, Charles or Jay or somebody that actually knows more about this round reel deal. Quote me if I'm wrong. Don't quote me and correct me if I'm wrong. But Charles had like a 100 size, and he was comparing it with the Calcutta Conquest BFS that I sold him. It's no competition to that reel, but it is a good reel. Charles decked it out and made it look cool, and then proceeded to throw rod and reel, or lost it on probably in a kayak. That's why we don't fish in kayaks. But anyway, that's besides the point. He lost that rod and reel, and he hasn't figured out how to get her back out of this wherever he lost it at. So he ordered the, oh shoot, and it'll be coming out. You'll see me casting this in a different video and all that, and we talked about it, held this one up beside the other one. I want to say DKS or something. Charles's reel is basically a cheaper version of this reel, and I think this one is not aluminum here. I think they're all carbon frames, but this is a little higher end one. And it does have aluminum side plates and more aluminum. Now, I think Charles's has, I don't think Charles has hardly any aluminum. It's it's definitely a lighter reel. Yeah, Charles is in the house, DKS 50. So anyway, this reel, 100%, is a legit reel to me. In the short time I've used it, I went out in the yard and I did some test casting. And if you guys know the channel, you know that, and I've talked about it several times, so let's talk about it one more time. This is one of the first things that got me into finesse fishing, period. I wanted to throw this on a bait caster because I'd already abandoned ship on spinning reels before I really got into the shaky head fishing. But that thing was hard to throw. And I wanted to throw it real light because I want to bounce this across the grass, through the gunk. And you can get these because of the float, the way the Elastic floats, and also the fact it's so durable. And you do the same thing with the zinkers, which I have right here. I haven't stretched it out, or it's gotten funky. That's one of our new spray grass that's already starting to take a beating. You can do the same thing with these zinkers, and as soon as they start to wear down a little bit, they also get buoyant and they will float. And you can float them with the 16th or an 8th as they get even more buoyant, because a 16th ounce jig head, well, actually, this thing will float. But anyway, this is what I wanted to throw, and I got into finesse reels before I don't even think Shimano came out with the Aldebaran BFS, and that's what sort of started the whole, BFS. But your finesse, you got real lightweight spools and lighter weight bait casting rods in order to help you throw that stuff. So to test this reel, I just went out here out front. I didn't make a video or anything on it. I just, once I got it in, I put a leader on it, and Jay did tell me this is 10-pound, and it feels like pretty good line. So I put a 10-pound leader, went out in the front and cast this, and although I didn't set it, however Jay had this set up, I still haven't changed it because it works fine. Now if I was going to try to fine tune it to this, I may adjust it. It almost feels like it may be a touch, just a touch tighter than I cast, to where, I might free it up a little bit. But I cast this on the 661 Teton, and I was getting roughly the same distance that I get with any of my other setups with this reel for that. And then I haven't tested it yet. I'm going to do a couple more tests with this little dude right here. I haven't went out and cast this. But then we went fishing, and I was throwing it with this on a 16th ounce, and we managed to catch a fish. No problems. I'll let Charles cast it with his. And so just like Charles will agree, this is, and it's more money, and Charles may know the price on both of these, or Jay. I don't remember the price. I want to say like 40 and 60. So there's basically like a 20 to maybe even a $30 difference. This is a smoother, quieter, well, not really smoother, quieter casting reel. The bearings don't, like, there's no noise. You can hear a little noise and hum out of the Charles's. And then this one, they both are like freed up reeling, but there is a geariness to the one Charles has. This thing actually feels pretty smooth. I mean, this feels good for what's funny is they all feel, any round reel will feel like a tank compared to the newer lightweight stuff. But it feels good and solid. And I was looking, and Jay may know, and I'm not going to try to do it. I don't think these knobs come off, though. This is a cool, but say if you like this and you want to get this reel, but you want to change these knobs, especially if you're going to fish it in winter, you'd almost be better off to just wrap something around your fishing, because I don't think these come off. Now, if you know me, if I was going to keep this reel, first thing I'd do is have that off some kind of single lifestyle with probably a cork knob, right? That's just how I roll. And I do not, this is awkward feeling, but casting isn't far off, so it was casting fine. Caught a fish, feels smooth, capable, and Jay may have, whenever he gets around to watching this video, I don't know, I don't think he's fished this. I think it's a new reel. So Charles fished his for a while, and then the one he has now, I think he just started fishing. So we don't know for sure about I don't anyway, know about the longevity, how durable, how long these will last. But out of the box, they're definite. This one is a smooth reeling, very smooth and quiet casting, seems very capable of casting any of your true BFS baits. Will it cast a 1 gram chop magnet? Probably not. And I think this is the one the reel tested a while back. I don't think he gave it a very good review. I mean, I don't know what you expect out of a very cheap round reel. So 100%, especially if you're a round reel person, it's a no-brainer. I would get, I don't know if I'd recommend Charles as the cheapest one unless you just want a beater to throw around and, knock around. I would spend the extra money and get this one just for what I felt, and just that extra, just how, it's hard to say on a cheap reel come from AliExpress, but a more refined version of basically the same reel. So I would get that one if it was me. No drag clicker. This does click. This does not. I do not think that anybody on the planet other than a Calcutta Conquest has a round small reel with the clicker. The Conquest BFS does. I think anything you're going to get from AliExpress or anywhere else, unless it's an aftermarket customized, reel you're buying from somebody, I don't think any of them have drag clickers. So enough about that for now. I will be doing a little bit, like I said, I'm going to go out at some point, I don't know when, throw a few more different baits, and then I'm sending this back to Jay. But thumbs up, legit reel. Get it right-handed, though. You guys are insane. You guys probably fish in kayaks, have Dodge trucks with huge mirrors, and cast with your right hand and reel with your left. You're nuts. But anyway, that's you. You do you, I'm going to do me. But anyway, I know. I just like to give guys crap because, trust me, I get so much crap about that at different times. It's insane. It's like, who cares which way you reel? I honestly don't care. I do not like that. I was, the little bit of time I fished it, I was like, oh boy. Nope, it doesn't. I don't even know. I don't know. I've not torn any of those. I don't know how hard it would be to try to put a drag clicker in that reel. I don't know. And it's a very small. This is a 50. That I know Charles had 100, which is I think the same size as the Shimano Calcutta. This is actually a little bit smaller, I believe, than the other one Charles had and the Shimano. It's a little dinky reel. I don't have the Conquest to compare it to, and the one Charles does have now, the other one he had was 100. And I want to say when we were comparing them, and it's in the video, I'm not going to go back and look. If you guys remember, we were comparing those at some point in one of the older videos. I thought those were the same size, so that would mean this one's definitely a smaller reel. I know the older Shimano Calcutta Conquest, their 50S, which was shallow spool, and the regular 50, were like the same size, a 50 series all the way. And the newer 100 BFS is the same as those older ones on one side, just kind of like this one has how they have the different sizes on each side. This one is tapered. It's definitely has that palming side is smaller, and then it gets bigger like the newer Shimanos. But I believe this is a way smaller reel overall. I say way smaller, but smaller, not like way smaller. The only thing I did adjust, I haven't adjusted this reel at all, except for the drag. I went a few teeth or a few clicks tighter on the drag. That's the only thing I changed. All right, enough about that reel. We'll be doing more about it. Let's get with what else is good. So far, these are legit. I like these I haven't had an issue yet, but I just, a week or two in of using these with 15-pound test. The funny thing is, the reel that I'm using with 10-pound test on the Carbon Light 2.0 with 10-pound, and you would think when you're casting 10-pound, it does, the spool, it's hard to explain, but it doesn't have to spool up as fast as it feeds line, because the 15-pound, as the line goes off, it's a thicker diameter, it gets down lower, so I guess, scientifically, it should be having to pick up the pace. It's going to pull the bearings and move a little faster. So anyway, the one reel out of these three that I've had an issue with is the one with 10-pound test on the Carbon Light medium light, and it's not a huge issue. It's noisier on casting. So I took it apart today. I should have done it. I meant to do it before I went fishing this weekend. I took it apart today, and I added oil to the spool bearings. I think that's all it is. I don't think it has as much oil in the spool bearings as these guys. Because so far this one, I don't have any issues with it, but I haven't used it probably as much as I have and this is a 7-to-1, like the one I got the 10-pound test on. The other one is an 8-to-1 with 15-pound, and I've got it on the Big Sexy, and I've been beating it up pretty good. And we did catch, I was using it on the Big Sexy as like a frog rod with that dude, and we caught a fish with that frog. So basically, I was using this reel as a frog reel, right? And it got the job done, but it was only one fish. But so far, not an issue. There's a touch of a gear. You won't be able to hear it. You're hearing the line click, but I'm comparing this to my zillions. There's, you know, the noise in the reel compared to my zillion, but it's quiet. It's not like that Carbon Light 2.0 reel that I ended up taking back. So that is the only thing that like keeps this from feeling like a real, like a higher end reel basically. Is just because it feels pretty solid. It does have a bearing out here, in case you guys are wondering. These are the reels, the Acura. These, I guess I should have mentioned that for those of you maybe don't know what's going on with these. These are from AliExpress. They're only $70, and they come with two spools: a deep, which I have on all of them because that's what I wanted them for, and a shallow spool. They do not have the same braking as the Dark Wolf Ultra or the Black Knight 2, but they're basically the same frame, very small, and easy to palm like the Black Knight 2. The Dark Wolf Ultra is basically the same reel, except it has some cosmetic differences, a little bit smoother overall on the, how the cosmetics are as far as the shape of the reel. But everything will pretty much interchange. I could plop the side plates on. The spools are different on the Dark Wolf Ultra and the Black Knight 2. All right, so that catches anybody up that doesn't know what's going on. So anyway, for a $70 reel, you cannot beat it. If it was a not as, and I hate to say the word geary, you guys will see or hear it in the videos. It's just if I hold it up while I've got pressure on it, like reeling in a bigger bait, it will be a touch of a noise that a high end Shimano Daiwa, they're not going to have that noise. Some of your higher end reels. But so far, it has not been an issue, and it's not gotten any louder or anything. I think there's just something there that, I guess if this reel could be improved upon, but how much can you ask for a $70 reel? The main thing is, as long as they don't get louder, and they just last, right? So that's still up in the air, just a few weeks in. No issues so far, right? Let me double check. Let me think. Hang on, I'm processing this. I heard somebody say that. Let me process this. Oh, this is Matt Allen on Tactical Bass and whether he should go up there downriver or not. No, never go downriver. Throw the jig. So, as you guys heard me mention, talking about the other reel that's on the Big Sexy, let's talk about the frog. I tried to put a frog video together. Did not work out. I might piece one together out of Saturday and today. So I could not get on any kind of frog bite, but what I did get on was one fish decided to hit this dude. If you remember, I bent these up and out when I did the unboxing. I did it right off the bat because I'm like, I do not like my chances of hookup ratios. These were bent down to where I felt this thing would not want to hook up. Well, I can tell you right now that bending those up, I'm glad I did, because I had one good frog hit. I mean one. Matt missed one before me on his, he was throwing a frog. So he missed one on a frog. I want to say he missed something like a big hit on maybe it was his frog, not his a Pop Max. But anyway, I had one bite, one good frog bite, and it was on this frog and no issues. Bam, set that hook. This thing, you'll see in the video, literally it was like this in the fish's mouth, and it was hooked up, in its, upper part of its mouth. It was hooked. Got that fish in, no problem. I was fishing on the Big Sexy, and it is rated 7.2 medium heavy. Like I've always said, you don't really need a heavy rod, but if you remember right, I spotted these Jordan Lee Abu Garcia rods. They make a 6'10" heavy. There's a possibility that could end up being in my arsenal and be a frog rod. On my overall big stuff, I may put like 20 to 30 pound braid on it, straight braid, and just turn that into my everything. Because that rod feels good, looks good, lightweight. May have to get it. It's only $99, the Jordan Lee rods. I know, we're talking about frogs, but that may end up being a new frog rod. But this thing, I would honestly, I didn't even want to test it. I didn't want to go through the frustrations of trying to set the hook the way these, to me, they felt like they were, and looked like they were way down. Like right now, if you see that, I wouldn't even call it an issue. Sometimes these legs are getting in there because I think I have them spread out so far. After you catch a fish or something, after like I got that hit or whatever, And well, we were in crazy wind, and I did get caught once or twice. We were in lily pads and grass and stuff. I think once or twice I got hung up. So at some point I might. I think I'm just going to leave it alone because when I get a frog bite, I want to catch that frog fish, and it is pretty important on where those hooks, how easy. And this one, the only downside I feel to this one, it definitely is a little bit stiffer. So I almost want them to, even if they don't hardly collapse this, I want that hook to be right there. And I love this side. This side is like right there. This side sticks out just a hair. Like it needs to be kinked in just the slightest. I think I'm gonna leave it alone because I was throwing it through a bunch of gunk, and like I said, the wind was blowing. Like you had lily pads literally fluffing up like this, and so every once in a while I would stick one and just give it a tug, it'd pop right off. I think on a not crazy windy, like you'll see in the video, I don't think you'll have an issue. So the real good thing about this frog, I've never fished a frog like this. So look at see how that's designed. It's not as flat. Most frogs come like this, right? This frog walks like nobody's business. This is insane how well you can walk the frog or dog. And I believe I'm almost positive I could come across out of the lily pads, and I started walking it and pausing it, and it literally walks like that. It walks like those fish looking ones that walk real good, but they seem like they don't get bit as well. But this thing walks amazing. It's definitely real good how it walks. The other two, as you'll see in the video, Booyah Pop and Pad Crasher, it was okay. What's funny is once you throw this and if you like walking the frog, once you come out of the, or if you're in that little opening in between the gunk and you kind of want to give it a little wiggle waggle through the gunk, then you're back in the gunk, and then as you come out of anything, I like to walk it out. Once you throw this one, you don't want it the Booyah Pop and Pad Crasher. You don't want that scum frog. That frog does not walk. That frog, it wants to bob up and down, which is sometimes may be a good deal. And I'm not done with it, but so far this is my frog. This is my frog so far, and we'll see how it goes. It's just one day, one fish, so don't go running out and buying 50 million of these. But I'd say, and this is the big one. They make two. They do make a smaller one. That's the bigger one. If you're gonna go frogging, go big, or just stay home, right? So that is the one I do recommend if you want to try frogs. But I would recommend maybe kinking those out. If you don't want to mess with kinking nothing out, I don't know if I'd get this one. I would go with the Booyah Pop and Pad Crasher because I feel the hookup ratios are good with it. If you want 100%, you're like Charlie, if that frog gets hit, I want to get it in, I would probably go with the scum frog. It's not going to walk. It's not going to walk worth a darn. The version I have, I think it's called Trophy Series. But anyway, okay, enough with the frogs. Another bait, and I think Nate was commenting about these, and I think he's the one that recommended these. Dude, I never had that pulled apart. I was fishing that bait. Look at that. This one I did. I don't even remember which one I had on which. So anyway, I got out on the water, and we were I tried them briefly before I cut them up and made them look like this. It was out on the water cutting job, guys, so, don't judge. It works. It's fine. So these are the goat. They're not the baby goat, and they're not the billy goat. You could basically do the same thing with the billy goat. If you really needed bigger flappers, you feel like you needed the bigger ones, you could do the same thing with the billy goat. You'd be cutting a little more. So I took just those Bass Pro Shops house brand, for like their braid scissors, not these little dudes. And all I did to the goat was just, I basically wanted it to be as wide as it is flat, so, or just a touch thinner. So you just basically cut off, not the very tips. As you can see, the tip is the same size. So I wanted that bulb, that sticks out on each side. I wanted it flat. So I just cut off each side, and then I just roughly, I wanted to try to round it some. So then I cut that flat, you know, the pointed part off on some of it. I was in a hurry, so I cut 2 different ones down on this, and then a black and blue, and I think I stopped there, and then I just went to fishing. For me, anyway, it made a world of difference. I just like the way they go through the water. I would call these flappers not as, you know, they flap, but maybe not as free as a, see how big that flapper is? Like, not as free as the Rage, Baby Rage Menace. So if you wanted to really fine tune it, you know, watch them through the water, you could maybe trim these down a little bit so they maybe flap just even a hair more subtle and would create less resistance and let that chatterbait flop around more. So that is going to be what I'm running on my chatterbait. Now, do they work? You're like, well, okay, you cut them down, but do they catch fish? Yes. I caught fish on them. The black and blue one that I cut down for my black and blue chatterbait, I think it caught the most. And I caught, went today, I only caught 3 fish. 3, you know, keeper fish. 2 on the black and blue chatterbait with one of these in the black and blue exactly cut just like that. Well, not exactly. It was probably just as nasty looking. But these are like one of a kind. You'll never get one cut quite like that nasty. But I caught my 2 keepers on that black and blue with the gold blade, of course, the one I made, painted blade, and one of these cut on it, and then my frogfish. The bite was tough. We were with Matt and Maddie, and she didn't even catch a fish. Sorry, Maddie. I think Matt caught 2 keepers and then a couple dinks. I mean, it was a tough bite. We were out at Maple Leaf Lake and trying to, we probably just took way too long trying those lily pads, frog bite, trying topwater. And then the wind picked up again, just like it did yesterday. And then it was kind of a deal of just going around and all that. So as I wrap up the deal on these, if you want some flappity tails, I recommend all the Z-Man stuff. If you want a good frog, I'd give it a shot. If you are willing to kind of kink and, you know, work on the hookup ratio by bending the hooks, basically you just want to bend them up. Mine kind of came out a little. I need to bend it, kink it back in, but I recommend the Z-Man frog. If you're running 3/8 and half-ounce chatterbaits, I recommend the goat and actually cut them down. Now, you can run them by themselves because they're almost the right length to put on, but I feel they're just a little too much Z-Man elastic in there because this stuff does float. So it's going to create resistance, give the chatterbait more lift. So you may try like cutting one down for your 3/8 and leaving one alone if you're running half-ounce, and then you may get the exact same depth or something. I don't know that, but this is how I'm going to be using them. Cut down just like that, and I may even cut just a hair off of these just to see if it even lets the bait. I need clearer water, a better day without the crazy wind. It was hard to find a spot to like see how it worked, but I may do a little more experimenting on a day when I have more time. Like I can't really take time when I'm fishing with somebody else, but if I get out on a day by myself, and especially if the bite gets tough, I'll do a little more tinkering around with those. But this is still a tried and true method, and I don't know, it took me forever to just, you know, I even talked about it with Charles, and then he did and put one on, and he put one on one of these baits. I don't remember what color. I think he may have put an orange one, I don't know, and he caught a fish like right off the bat. But you just take a Zinkers, and it, as you soften it up, you just, you know, the older, the nastier that material flopping around, it gets pretty light. You put that thing, and I've talked about it, and I'll talk about it probably 1,000 more times. You just take about 1 inch off it, which it ends up being about the same length, if you guys can see that. It's about the same length as what the goat is. So you take about 1 inch off, stick that on your chatterbait. You can kind of, I recommend matching colors, you know, so if you've got the aftermarket ones from AliExpress, that purple and black one, you put the, I was trying to peanut butter and jelly, or the purple haze. They make that, basically the orange one like this. You guys will see me fishing with it. Cut that thing down, you put it on. It gives a chatterbait the freest, it's the freest soft plastic you can put on that gets bit for me. Like I tried the trailers, like the spinnerbait trailers with the two tails. Those for whatever reason just do not. I don't like those. I feel you do not get bit as well. These seem legit so far, and these seem to be working. I'm not sure. I haven't been on a good enough chatterbait bite to like put them head to head against the Baby Rage Menace. Like, are they any better? I don't think they're any better. They may be as good. I don't think they're any better. It is hard to beat that Baby Rage Menace. Stick it on a chatterbait or on a. That's another thing. A smaller jig, like a finesse jig. Man, those Baby Rage Menaces just seem to be the right size for this time of year. The summertime into what is now still kind of summer, starting to get into fall, and we may play around with. I've never thrown a Rage Menace. I may get some of those. Who knows? So the baby goat, and I think it was Nate was saying that he liked stick one on a 3/8 ounce chat. I don't like it. I feel like you can't really run it back far enough, and I don't think it does enough. You'd be better off, I think, just to run zinkers. So those though will probably be going on maybe just on the micro chatterbaits by themselves. I don't know. I may even try to make my own skirting material, or put a small skirt, where it doesn't have any resistance with one of those on it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to play around with that at some point. But for me, it's the goat I like for that. And then I may put these on a finesse jig, try them out, and basically would just be making them shorter. Might thin them out, might leave them actually wide, I don't know, and try them on a few different jigs also at some point. And if you guys do use the goats, I know Nate does it, comment on what you guys use them for, kind of deal. Oh, Nate's on there. So is I right about the goats? No, you were wrong. Sorry. No. The Brew Tank says try the Jackal Cara Frog. They're awesome. Yeah, I've seen those, but I don't know. I may get one, may not. I don't really fish frog enough. Like, I go to these places, frog looks awesome, like it's gonna work. The last, around here anyway, probably a couple years, it's not been good. One of my first year or two, I was making videos, like you'd see several different frog and topwater general videos. Nowadays, you watch me make a topwater video, it's probably got a little white popper, and that seems to be the last couple years what those things just get bit, or the even smaller Sonora poppers. I get out there throwing that big dude, and I feel, well, like today, the bite just in general, but I feel like usually I'll get out there and I'll throw one of these for an hour, and I'll throw a popper for 5 minutes and start catching fish. And it's like, okay, let's just throw the popper. So I don't know. That frog, just the way it walks and goes through the water, I don't know. I don't know if I get too many different colors, and I do, which I've talked about in another video. I think when I first was unboxing, packaging these from, where did I get this one at? Was this Rogers or Bass Pro? I think this came from Rogers. But I went with that yellow or chartreuse type belly. That's more of a yellow. Because of Madeline, he was coming that was his favorite color. And I've always just ran a white-bellied frog. And I mean, they work. Just because that's, if, a bullfrog and a leopard frog have white bellies. If you're ever really looking at them, or catch one, or try to catch one to use it for catfish bait, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so will I get one with the white belly? I'll probably fish this a little bit more. If I feel the hookup ratios are like I think they are with those Ben Alabit, I'll probably go ahead and get at least one other colored one. All right, so let's wrap this video up, and let me tell you about a bait that I'm not happy with. You guys probably guessed by now. These dudes right here. Right? You guys saw this. You saw it coming. the Madbite bladed jig kit. It's got a couple negatives for me, dog. So listen up, hear me out. They do catch fish. 100%, you know I like to throw chatterbaits. Chatterbaits will catch fish. I throw chatterbaits probably way longer throughout the day than I should. I should probably switch to other stuff at different times. I do eventually, but I sometimes will drag that chatterbait bite out forever. These baits, and you'll see in the video coming up, we're out on the water testing them out. These are the baits from KastKing. You can get it on their website, Madbites. These are the baits Charles had. The only reason I even ordered these is because Charles was fishing with them and catching fish. Here's the issue. Charles's that he has, that they send him, he got them free somehow. See that blade right there? His don't have that blade. His have a normal, just regular looking chatterbait blade like the Z-Man Originals. A lot of chatterbaits on the market other than maybe Picasso and some of the Booyahs. And the AliExpress ones. It's just a regular, comes more to a point. It's hooked on there's actually a hole right there. It's hooked on directly to the chatterbait head, even though the head is just like this. The only thing I can figure is that somehow KastKing took over this from whoever the company that makes these was Madbite was distributed through or whatever, and so once they went through KastKing, they may have gotten in trouble with Z-Man or something, so they had to go to this kind of hooking it up, right? So they went to that. And so when they went to that, maybe they changed the blade shape so they couldn't get them for like, oh, well, you copied our blade too. So they do have their own little blade and that. And they still work. I mean, they still, chatter, sort of. They vibrate. I don't know if I'd call them chatter. They do catch fish. I've caught a few fish on them. If you remember right, that hook is pretty small, but I don't know if that's an issue. Here's the issue I have. That blade, as big as it is and as little as the 3/8 are anyway, half ounce may help a little. I feel you can't, like when you're trying to run them slow, I don't feel like they get down as much as I like. If you remember right, I talked about the micros. I don't like them with the skirts on because I feel the skirts work like a balloon. The skirts they come with anyway. Kind of like why I don't like nowadays the Z-Man Originals have that perfect skirt or whatever, so it just stays puffed out. Once you tie a skirt on, like a hand-tied skirt, you don't have this rubber band thing helping poof it out and none of that. And on a chatterbait, I think the least resistance coming through the water on the weight part back here gives it that ability to jump around. And the blades are almost perfect on all the ones you tend to use. A 3/8 is going to ride a little higher. You run a half ounce, go a little deeper. And I'm also working on maybe a way to get a half ounce deeper without needing to buy, because who needs to buy 3/4 and all that, because they do. Some companies make a lot of different size chatterbaits. But these are a no for me, just for the fact that these blades, and one of them, let me show you. I tried to, look at this one. I tried to bend it down to get it to, I wanted it to, vibrate, but I wanted to go at just a steady pace. And I feel when I go at the pace I do with my other, I was comparing this to a 3/8 ounce AliExpress Jackie Hammer. And I feel they don't stay down. And like when you try to speed them up, they just want to ride up, right? They just want to come up. So I'm not gonna buy any more. I'm definitely not gonna get the half ounce to try out. I'm not even sure if I'll stick with these. The other downside to this is the fact that, say I lose this one, I'm like, never mind. Say I lose this one. You guys know I like black and blue. So if I lose this black and blue, and I'm like, oh, I want to get another black and blue to complete my set of chatterbaits I fish, right? You can't just buy this bait. As far as I know, I haven't seen anywhere on the website. You want this black and blue bait, you at least have to buy 2 others. You have to buy a 3-pack is the lowest amount they sell them in. So you will need to go on there and spend $11.99 to get this black and blue. So that is the second reason You know, the fact how they work. I don't like how far away that is. The the only plus, and I'll give you the pluses real quick. They are cheap. You can get this 5 pack was only $16.99. The colors are actually pretty good. I do like the colors. They do catch fish. If you wanted to mess with, you know, having several chatterbaits. So what I should do is keep these around, and I tried to use one today, sort of like that. We got into this crazy shallow grass. Like as soon as the bait hit the water, you need to start reeling to stay up, because they would work for that. They do have the ability. They ride high in the water column, so that may be they may be their saving grace. Why I keep these 5 and just fish them until I lose them, break them, whatever happens. And I like the colors, the fact that if in that super shallow area where topwater would also probably be working, you may be able to buzz these chatterbaits around if you prefer chatterbaits like I sort of do sometimes. And I haven't tried to pop one of these blades off, but in theory, here's what I could do. But I'm going to get the AliExpress knockoffs, right? I could get, and then they sell them on AliExpress. You can buy just these, not these nasty. They don't even call these nasty. They look cool. They look nasty if you understand how chatterbait blades work going through the water. But you can buy regular blades, so I could pop this off. I could just pop that blade off, throw it in the trash, order regular chatterbait blades, pop one on there, and be back to fishing. You could probably do that. If some of you guys have already ordered these and you're like, dude, these suck. You know, if you don't like the fact they ride so high up and you want them to get them down, order some regular blades off AliExpress, get going again. Because I do like these colors. This, like a sexy shad thing, I just like that color. I thought I liked chartreuse and white a couple years back. I have been sucking with chartreuse and white anything, buzzbaits especially. Back a couple years ago, me and Bonsai Guy got on a few different crazy buzzbait bites with chartreuse and white buzzbaits. But since then, and then my chartreuse and white chatterbait game is not that great for me. This is a good color. I like this. That's a good color. I don't know about this color. I don't really have near as much luck once you add too much red, but there is some orange in there. I honestly, of all the red chatterbaits I've seen, I like that one the best just because it has enough of that black and orange. And it's got a gold blade. You cannot go wrong with the gold blade, right? But you could get standard blades, put those on, and I might at some point. They're 3/8 ounce. Put a regular blade on them, and at least try them. But for now, there are no. As far as do I recommend you guys to buy them? No, unless you just want to go nuts. You're like me. You've got regular chatterbaits. You've got the AliExpress knockoffs, and you're like, I might as well get set. But for $16.99, you can buy all 5, 3/8 or ½ ounce for $16.99. So in theory, if you want to get 5 of these in each size, you're going to spend 35, 6, 7 bucks or whatever. You can get, yeah, they're roughly the same price as AliExpress ones. So if you just want to say like, I don't want to go through, I'll go through KastKing. If you're a KastKing guy, because you guys probably hear me, I'm not KastKing a lot on this channel, just like shit monos. We got one sitting right here. But, I have not tried the Kestrel. I'm just giving you my opinion on what I've watched other guys that have reviewed it. It doesn't seem to be the hot item. I think everybody will agree that's tried this reel. This reel does work awesome. I would say that they're still up in the air on if people think this is actually a good-looking reel or not. Me, I definitely don't like the color, and I don't like that. I don't like that dial. But overall, I think it's it's definitely a decent-looking reel. It's an awesome working reel. There's no BFS reel that works as good as it does. It just needed to come with the BFS spool. I know, it's more capable than most BFS spools, but that's an MGL spool. It says right on it. All right, you guys got any other questions? Let's see here. Yeah, the thick grass, snakehead bass. Yeah, see, we went to Maple Leaf Lake. It sits right off I-70. And I hadn't been there in a few years. Me and Emily had fished there. And so that place is like overran with lily pads and that grass. I don't even know what kind of grass it is. I should know the name of it. I don't really. I don't know. I just it's the grass is growing up like with the lily pad. So in most places, and it's just like everywhere, like all the way around that whole lake. If you guys, any of you that's fish Maple Leaf Lake, also know, like, in all honesty, you go around there and fish the rocks if you can find a bite on the rock, because there's less rocks to deal with. Like the dam has rocks, and there's a couple different areas where they've got kind of little peninsulas cut out for people to fish and stuff. There's so much grass and lily pads. I mean, completely around. It's not a huge lake, but completely around Maple Leaf Lake. Supposedly, it looks shaped like a maple leaf. That's how it's got its name. But you can literally fish, to make every, like, you go there and say in those 50 yards, you look down 50 yards of that bank and you're going to frog fish of a morning. You can literally see like 150 casts to make if you want to hit every little spot, right? So you kind of just get to the point where you're just like casting and reeling and walking and trying to hit little holes. You're trying to look for something different, like where the lily pads stick out further and whatever. And that's where Matt, where the lily pads stuck out further in one part we were on, he threw there, and he had like it was a way harder hit than my frog bite, and but it basically wasn't really Matt. The fish kind of missed the frog, and then it's just like insane how much cover there is there around the bank. Then everywhere you look, almost there's stumps. So then it's like, okay, where are the bass or whatever, if they're setting up on stumps and all this and that kind of stuff. So Maple Leaf, in my opinion, has too much cover for the limited amount of bass as far as, so like when you go there, I feel if like me, I went there a few years ago, I went there today. It's not a lake to just go, because you'll get lost in trying to figure out where a bite is or how a bite, whatever. It would be a cool one if you wanted to go and try to find patterns that work in different times of the year, because there's probably always a bite in somewhere, whether it be out in the deep wood, the shallow wood, up on the rocks, or out in the grass and all over. But we were kind of just buzzing around, and we caught together 6 or 8 or so bass, something like that. 5 for sure, keeper, nice bass that, and then I don't know. I don't even know how many dinks. Few dinks. I definitely missed a little one that wasn't any longer than this. So anyway, what else do we need to talk about? You got me on the 1/8 ounce Z-Man Micro. He's like, right, pull the skirt off and put a Key Tech, like a swim bait. He's calling along the grass line. It's money. Yeah, a swim bait. What I actually found that I like on them, which I've fished them some with the swim bait, but I like the little TRD Bugs, which is a creature bait, like basically almost a perfect copy of the, oh shoot, it's escaping me right now. Sweet Beaver, right? It's just that little thing. I stick those on there by themselves, and it seemed like that was working pretty good for me, especially in colder water. And then I'm going to try the little baby goats, and I may try to put just enough skirting material to give it something, secondary movement. And the little baby goat, the little bugs, or a little, not necessarily Key Tech, because for as much as they cost, they don't last long at all. These you guys see me using the Meredith baits, or some of the small. You can get them from various places. Even Rogers Sporting Goods now has a pretty small little swim bait thing. Their house brand they got some pretty decent colors. Something like that. But I'm thinking that there might be able to pick up my game with because these are pretty small too. These tend to have a little bit smaller profile, so I may rig some of those up with a smaller or with a regular chatterbait blade. The micros, and then the flashback, and just, kind of play around with that under 3/8 ounce size of my, regular jackhammer style, which is the AliExpress knockoffs, the Z-Mans, and all those. Just a smaller profile chatterbaits to where when I should give up the 3/8 of the regular size and, chatterbait bite, there's always fish that will hit them smaller chatterbaits. Cold, hot water, whatever. But yeah, the first, I don't even know how long I fished the micros, which are 1/8 ounce chatterbaits. Man, I just thought, man, these little things suck. And I just pulled the skirt off one day, ran what I call, ran them naked. I just stuck on I don't even remember what soft plastic I had at the time. I stuck on one of those, and man, it was like, dude, this thing's work. And then, and I know I've told this story too. I had at the time they don't make them that way anymore. That's what got me into messing with even why I went down to those 16th ounce, and you can get an 1/8 ounce also, but in the flashbacks, because they make like a gold headed one, right? And you can, when you get on, like if you're on crazy little fish and you're just like, oh, they keep tearing up my, I'm talking that, what I'm talking about, that little dink bite that you're just tired of wasting your soft plastics on. You can literally throw that thing out bare, and just, it does this insane jumping around, that little 16th and 1/8 ounce ones, the littler ones. And when you have just the flashing gold, silver would probably do the same thing, but I had the flashing gold one because it had a chartreuse skirt on it. I peeled the skirt off, and I don't remember what I had on it, but I had something on it, and it came off. So I just threw it out by itself in clear water, and man, you could watch it. Just, it would jump around when you could chatter, and then just like kill it, and then when you jerked it before it would kick back in, it would kind of start to dart and then kick in. And man, I caught like fish doing that. I'm like, there's no point in even running anything on one of these when they're so small. The way it jumps around, fish were just hitting it, little dinks. But I've never thrown a chatterbait, bigger one, without anything on it. I've just never thrown one. I mean, a guy could possibly do the same thing with one of those. I have no clue. Like I said, I haven't tried it. I do the diesel minnow, right? They throw these with just soft plastics only. But I like a chatterbait with a skirt and with something that that is free but gives it some kind of action. But there's no mistaking, those do work. And then the Baby Rage Menace or these also. And I will see if when I get to comparing them, I know they last way longer because I think I caught some fish yesterday, and I caught some today on the black one. And well, I caught some on these too, but like I taking them off, they're still good. Now you don't want to leave them on, or I actually want to go put these up because they will tend to, if you get them hot or get them out too long, they can get acting weird, right? They'll start wanting to shrivel up or do weird, stupid stuff. But I've caught a bunch of fish on that black and blue one, and it is still going strong. No sign of losing it. You use the Baby Rage Menace, and within 3 to 5 fish, it's a done deal. And it could be 3 to 5 dinks. It could be 3 to 5. Oh, I ran it across something too much or whatever kind of deal. You guys know the deal with normal soft plastics, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'll come up, cut down a Baby Rage Menace or a Rage Menace, one of these or something. Maybe we can actually get with the Big A's and have him come up with something that I actually like on a, my favorite deal to put on a chatterbait. Because I want really something thin. I do like this, and that's about the size of the Baby Rage Menace. And then legs, something like this. These may be a touch longer than I like and kick a little more. But there's probably a time when they're, will work awesome. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Next week, I don't even know what kind of fishing I'm doing yet, but this next weekend, I'm going to try to do, and you guys, nobody's commented yet. Let me know what you think about the whole, live streaming. Do you like the idea of coming in here like I did today, every Sunday night, kind of give a rundown of what happened for the weekend of fishing? try to come up with set times maybe through the week to do live streams, or you like the randomness of just like, oh, he had one out and, you know, watching it after I've already done or whatever. Comment. Get you some baits and go fishing. Daily 3-hour live streams. Dude, here's what I was back and I've watched, you guys know the ones I'm probably talking about, Zona Live, right? Those are probably my favorite, and I didn't watch them when they were live streams. But I've sat through that whole one with KVD and Zona, right? Kevin Van Dam, Mark Zona, they were out fishing. I think it was crazy windy, but they were like on them at different times. They were just being nuts. And then the one with Seth Fighter, he cut his hair, Jordan Lee, those things got like 2 to 5 million views, and they're jerky, sketchy at times, you know, because the cell service is kind of bad. But I would like to be able to go out, and not today because we weren't on a bite to ever really give like a live stream, but there's certain times where you can kind of get that feeling like, oh, this bite's on, you know, especially early morning, right when the sun's coming up, and you can kind of just tell. And there's certain honey holes me and Charles has. I go with Charles. Like if I had enough service to jump on here like I'm doing right here instead of doing the whole GoPro thing, just to do like for an hour live of fishing, you know, and then still put a video together later with my GoPro. But I would like to be able to do that and talk about something, you know, right then and there kind of deal, or maybe a couple hour deal or whatever. You know, I could always rig my one of the batteries with the charger for this phone and just kick it on and let it go. And if it jitters and skips but this phone always asks me to reconnect. I'd have to like be checking it every so often. But I'll be honest, where we go down in the boonies, there's probably nowhere enough cell service to get that done. So maybe at some point that would be cool to do. Because if you think I talk a lot right now, I edit out most of the talking I do in the videos when I'm out on the water. Just ask Matt or Charles or Maddie. They'll tell you. All right, guys, I really got to get out of here. I was going to lift some weights. I haven't made it back to the gym yet. If you guys remember right, I had COVID. I couldn't do anything I could have, but I didn't, because I really couldn't. I got worn out. So I didn't do anything for a week. I stayed in the house. I didn't go out of the house for a whole week. I tried to go fishing because I had to, you know, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go around people because I had it, right? I took a test. I had it. Well, I felt okay. Tried to go fishing. That did not work. I got worn out quick. So then I'm like, okay. Lasted a couple days of I felt like worn out. Felt pretty rough. Then I felt good, but I didn't feel great. I literally got up, went out, and you guys, if you watch the live when I'm out here, I don't even remember what kind of cast testing I was doing. I tried to make a live stream outside. I was literally getting worn out. I had to wrap that up probably quicker than I normally would have. And at work had messaged me, you coming to work tomorrow? Oh, hell no, because I felt bad. I couldn't do anything more than a half hour without getting just exhausted. So then I got out fishing that next weekend, and I felt good, but you guys saw those videos, and you probably hear it in my voice. I was definitely a little off. So this weekend I felt like I was on it, man. I'm back. Problem is the bite ain't back. We're like kind of off around here. The bite, it's kind of weird because you hear everybody talking. If you guys watch, whether it be Gene Jensen, Tactical Bassin, or all these other guys out here talking about the fall transition and it's changing and now the bite's on. Well, around here, the hot weather's still here. The water's cooling down, but it's still like summer. And so it's kind of weird. I feel you got these bright sunny days, it's mid 70s temps, so the temps have dropped about 10 degrees. Instead of mid 80 water temps, they're mid 70s or whatever. But I don't know, I don't feel like on a normal fall as it's changing, like it's kicked in. I feel it's gotten worse as the nights have gotten cooler, but the days are staying hot. I mean, it was 90-some degrees yesterday and today. I feel like it's done something to the fish. Like they're just not hitting like you would normally have them hit. Because they are right. Like they should be starting for that. They know what's coming kind of deal. They get out and our grass vault where there's no grass, there's still no grass because that ain't going to change. But where they're is still grass and was a lot of grass, it's still right there. It's still alive. There's sections on the maple leaf where the lily pads look like they're dead or dying off, but like that stuff looks like to be going. And where me and Charles fished, I would swear that grass looks way better now when we fished it than it did 2+3 weeks ago. So I think I don't know, it's kind of weird. I think that the weather patterning, whatever you would call it, has got the fish a little, I guess, funky compared to what I would think would. If you guys remember, I think it was last year, I called it the forever fall bite. Like it just stayed warm and stayed warm. And like I felt like it was kind of game on, like better than so far this year. This year, like it spurts and there's times and then there's times when you're like, oh man, this bite sucks. So anyway, I'm getting out of here. Yep, broke the record, over an hour. What'd you say, Nate? What are you telling me? Curl those tackle bags. What are you talking about? Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I do. I squat the boat and I do curls with the tackle boxes. No, I actually have. I started going to the gym. I have weights here in the garage. I have these little bands and I have different stuff. And so it took me forever. I was just like lift a little bit around here because I was in, weight training back in high school kind of thing. So it had been years since I've been to the gym. But this year, Valencia talked me into going. She wanted a gym membership, wanted me to go with her. So she talked me into going, and then I kind of got hooked in because it's so simple. If you guys don't know about lifting weights, if you want to build muscle, building muscle is the simplest thing in the world to do. You just repeatedly lift something that works that muscle and just overexert that muscle. And it is actually like you think, oh, wow, overexerted, that's horrible. Well, not really, because it doesn't take a lot. You just, like when you first start lifting weights, it will kill you. Your muscles will feel like, oh my God, like you can't move them. But then once you get used to it, it actually is fine. It doesn't do anything. But anyway, enough about that. Maybe I'll talk about lifting weights in another video. Boy, you ain't tough. If you guys have questions about it. What'd you say?
You ain't tough, boy.
That's Noah. You guys don't know my son. He says I ain't tough.
We were watching your live stream. We were screaming at you.
You're nuts.
Charlie, did you hear me screaming?
No, what are you guys doing? You watching Basketball Bonsai? You better be.
No, we were just searching up our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We were watching your live stream. We were screaming at you.
You guys are nuts. Anyway, these are the boys who don't go fishing with me. They go fishing by themselves.
Because we're good at it.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to while Noah's down here, turn that down or off. It's too... Is that much of a lag?
Yeah. You mean delay?
Whatever. Lag, delay. What do you guys call it?
Hey, we're strong.
Delay.
Noah's lifting dumbbells. No, I got a rod I don't like. Remember that rod you said you liked? I don't like that rod, so I'll probably give it to you for next
Which
year.
one? I liked it.
Fate Black. You didn't like
Oh,
it.
which one? This one? I heard you guys screaming all the way from upstairs. This one?
Well, come and say hi. The Fate Black.
That?
No. Can you read? It's Fate Black.
Where at?
Noah's picking up the DMX rod. You like the DMX rod? I'm gonna give you that. Out of that one, look at that one right there. See it? Okay, that one, the purple one, one of the purple ones. See the purple ones? Or see the Fate Black? Ain't that the one you liked that one day?
What's fake black?
So which one do you like best out of all three? Just looks.
Last one, like you said.
The Fate Black, pick it up. That one there. Ollie, don't be sniffing it. Ollie, he went right to it and was sniffing it like, oh, this one is the one he's talking about. You like that one better than all of them. Yes. All right, that's yours because you know what? That rod sucks for hookup ratios. Yeah, I can't hardly get a hookup on it. Say hi, Sophia.
What up, homies?
What up? Is that how you say hi nowadays? That's how people say hi.
No, how we say hi is we cuss at them.
You better not be cussing around me. You guys got kids that cuss?
I do.
You guys ain't.
I do.
Shoot, I got a baby mama at home.
You're nuts. Kid's like 12.
He's actually 13.
Well, me looking at that. Put that rod up.
Hey, girl.
You ain't getting that rod.
Hey, I want one of that. I want that $400 reel.
What? I don't own a $400 reel.
Remember the one you did own?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it this?
Charles has that now. That is a $70 reel.
Which one's your most
Don't mess with this one. This one's not mine. Yeah, those are nice. They're only $60.
Is it mine now?
You want one?
No.
What are you gonna put on it? What rod?
My black rod. My black and orange rod.
Oh, the one that ever got you black and orange. What is that? A Bill Dance rod?
Oh, is this a catfish?
That's not mine. Don't
rod?
mess with. That is not catfish. It's BFS.
Come on, Javier, let's go change your game.
Javier,
is that?
that's around here. If they use a round reels for catfish. What?
No, I don't. It just looked like one.
Caught a big one on that one today.
All right, bye, Dad. Have a good rest of your live stream.
Yeah, it's already gone way past its limit. Hour and 5 minutes.
This doesn't weigh that much.
Yeah, that 1 ounce. See the one on them?
Javier.
How much is this?
That is $20. You want that one?
I want all of them.
You want all of them?
How much is this?
That's 250 or
How much is this?
60. That's 75 or 80.
So I want this one.
220. He grabbed the most expensive one, just
How much
because
is
it's the
this
most
one?
expensive one. That's the same as these. Believe it or not. Look at those. Do they look totally different to you?
All right.
Let's ask Javier. What color is this?
Huh?
What color is this one?
Black.
What color is this one?
Black.
Didn't they look different?
They're black. They're all black.
Noah.
This one looks like a lighter gray. That's like black.
Right. Almost a
both
green,
black.
right?
Yeah.
Almost a green. And what's funny is it came out of the package a couple weeks, month ago. Looked just like these. It changes colors after you use it. It's insane. Which looks better? You like that? Yeah. Like, I think this looks good too, but I think that does look better, and they will change on you. They're $60 reels. Buy them. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. As you can tell, I guess I'm babysitting. Am I the only adult here?
You're not left-handed.
Who's here?
You're not left-handed.
Yeah, I know. Jay sent me that to test.
Who's that?
This is right-handed,
Subscriber.
you dummy.
No, it's not.
That is what they call left.
Is there?
Well, technically, you could cast with your left, but you reel with your left.
Where's your?
And that's what I
Is
call
this your
left-handed
most
reels.
expensive
No,
reel right now?
no. Actually, this is not my most expensive. The Aldebaran 22, the Zillion over there is.
Which one?
The
This
one on the other white rod that's covered, that one.
Hey, boy, watch it.
Remember when I broke one of your rods?
Yeah.
Remember when
yeah.
you threw mine underwater?
If you guys remember, way back in the day when I first started doing videos, I was doing shootout videos.
And he used to.
The
Get
Toma
mad at us
and the what was the other? Oh, the Kind, the Teton 632, and I bought a Toma. And Javier broke the Toma, and I never got to do a shootout video versus the
Bro, there's a spider.
Toma. That Toma back then was
Dad,
a joke.
Look at that spider behind you.
Isn't that the one you showed
That's
me
not a
when we were
spider.
at Wendy's and the
Spiders
drive-thru
don't
and you're
fly.
getting mad? Isn't that the one that you were showing me? It was like a breakdown of it was a YouTube video when we were at Wendy's. It was like a breakdown of what's in it, whatever.
I have no idea. Maybe.
Tell him how I'm a famous fisherman.
Tell them how what?
I catch a real big catfish, boy.
You didn't catch a big catfish.
Yes, I did. That was a big.
You never did show me the pictures of the ones you guys caught. I
I
never
did?
did see them pictures.
Let me show you that.
Let's see it. Show the camera. This live stream's going on forever.
Hold on.
Yeah, this kid's nuts. What did he tell me? We went to the Dollar Tree to get him some snacks for the weekend,
Oh, we need to go to Dollar Tree again.
and he grabs this rose that lights up. What'd you tell me? It's his mom. He's talking about. Get this for your girl. He knows I
Look
don't
at the
spend
mouth on that
$1.25 on my
son.
girl. What's wrong with this kid? No,
What the heck is this, a weight?
that's yeah. Come on, man.
There's spiders.
You got
Spiders.
There's 3 over there, Dad.
Noah.
He's flying.
Noah's 14. His voice is changing. Sometimes he sounds worse than the girl, but yeah.
Look! Oh my God!
Oh, he's talking
this
about
is
that. We can fight right now,
this
bro.
is the mouth of that baby girl. Ooh. Is that a tarantula?
Yeah, that is a big
Yeah,
one.
you did
That's
not
what you
catch
and
that.
Lucas caught,
Yes, I
right?
did.
Him and Lucas.
Look how big that is, Javier. What?
Down, you guys have seen me fish there. The when I call that little bitty pond, you see me probably the yellow truck parked aside, and I do some cast test on the water. That's where they caught this catfish at.
That baby was big, boy. Lucas, that catfish almost threw Lucas in the water.
That thing's like maybe 5 pounds.
And if you saw Lucas, you know that baby was pounders.
Yeah. Oh, it's
that was
probably
like
a monster
20
on that rod
pounds.
Lucas was using.
That was like, oh, look
What?
at this rod.
He had a spinning rod, wasn't it?
Look at this rod. I like this.
That's a reel.
This is a rod.
That's a reel.
Man, we gotta go picture gaming.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Thanks for watching.
What happened to the handle?
Subscribe to my TikTok.
Hold on.
I got a baby mom.
What are you trying to do?
Let me show them. People actually
They already
watch
see
your
that.
life.
They know that real. Yeah.
Look at this, boy.
Put that up.
Go watch my TikTok. Go follow my TikTok.
Thanks for
Yeah.
watching.